Furiosa comes out this week, so I wanted to cover some early reactions coming out from Cannes. A lot of people are going to see it from there. But yeah, it's coming out to the public this week. I'm so excited. I think it could be one of the best movies of the year. Before we get into the early reactions, though, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy it, because I'm on the road to 700 subscribers. It's free to do so. Helps a lot. But let's get right into these reactions. But the first one comes from Wendy. She says, Furiosa is one hell of a ride. Anya Taylor-Joy is so powerful and fantastic in the role, as is Aliyah Brown, who's going to play the young Furiosa. It's packed with action the whole way through. Love Hemsworth's performance as Dementis. Definitely want to see him in more roles like this. This one was a fun one. Already off to a strong start with a very positive review. And yeah, from the trailers, I didn't know who the little girl was. I didn't know who she was, but she is the younger version of Furiosa, and of course she is Aliyah Brown. Been hearing some great talk about her because they're like sharing the screen in this one role, because as we learned from what was it, CinemaCon, this movie is told in chapters. I forget if it's like 3 or 5 chapters it's told in. So you're gonna have half the movie be the younger Furiosa and half it be the older Furiosa with Anya Taylor-Joy. Russ says Furiosa is a vibrant and worthy successor to Fury Road. While it doesn't reach those same heights and it has a notably slow start, it eventually settles into the crazy action fans expect. The car scenes are impressive and the world building is put in the spotlight. Another pretty good review. This one is a little less, hype than the last one, because he says it doesn't reach the same heights as Fury Road, but honestly, if you're going into Furiosa expecting it to be as good as Fury Road, you're going to be let down, because Fury Road is one of the best action movies of all time. People can agree to that. It's probably my third or second favorite action movie, and that's like a high bar. I'm not going into Furiosa expecting a Fury Road type of movie, because a lot of things have changed. VFX artists are getting overworked. George Miller, he's getting older, but he's still putting out this movie, which is insane. I'm just expecting an action movie, a fun ride with some crazy stunts. And he says it has a notably slow start, but the world building is very impressive. I'm all for a slow start, because I think Fury Road, it kind of took me a while to get into it because it started so fast. Fury Road is a very fast movie. Like, if you're watching it for the first time, you're probably not used to that pace. But after watching it a couple more times, I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it going. But the first time with Fury Road, it starts a little too fast for me. Ash says George Miller's Furiosa is nearly indescribable. He immerses you so deeply in this chaotic world that you lose all sense of reality, leaving you breathless and captivated. Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth give completely wild performances. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, I've been hearing a lot of talk about him in this movie. A lot of people were like, he shouldn't be in this movie. And I can even admit, I had doubts about his character from the first trailer, but it seems like he's giving a great performance, a really unhinged and wild performance as this villain. Some people are even comparing him to Austin Butler in Dune, because Austin Butler was a great villain, but he's very wild and unhinged in a way. Darren says, really enjoyed Furiosa. It's not Mad Max Fury Road, but then very few films are. It reminds me visually of Miller's 3,000 Years of Longing and narratively of the most recent Hunger Games movie. I like them both a lot, and I like this a lot. This is quite an interesting review. At least he says, it's not Mad Max Fury Road, but no one expects it to be. But when he says it's visually kind of like George Miller's 3,000 Years of Longing, I mean, I wouldn't say that worries me, because I think that visually that movie is pretty good, but I absolutely hated that movie, and I forgot that George Miller actually directed that movie. I did not like it. It's such a movie that only works for a certain group of people, and did not work for me. And him comparing it narratively to the most recent Hunger Games is very interesting, partially because that movie is kind of told in chapters too. But I'm a big fan of that recent Hunger Games movie. I gave it like an 8 out of 10, so I'm looking forward to this still. L. George says, holy freaking shit, I absolutely loved Furiosa. George Miller keeps getting better with bonkers action, high octane adrenaline, and constant insanity on screen. This is the kind of movie they make big screens and potent sound systems for. Witness her, witness me. I love that line from Fury Road. But it is kind of insane to see how far George Miller has come, and keeps, how he just gets better and better with making, better action. Because I just watched the first Mad Max films for the first time. I will probably do a ranking on those after I see Furiosa. But those action sequences are pretty good. But if you compare them to a movie like Furiosa or Mad Max Fury Road, man has upgraded with age, and I love to see. He's just doing so great right now. And Anna says Furiosa somehow achieves what was deemed impossible. It's an absolutely triumphant prequel to the Reverend Fury Road, gritty, gnarly, outlandish. It maxes out and imaginative, outrageous in the most gleeful way. Anya Taylor-Joy is like we'd never seen her before. This is amazing to hear because, as you know, I'm a huge Anya Taylor-Joy fan. I don't really think she makes bad movies. I don't really think she's in too many bad movies. Last Night in Soho is the only one I'm kind of iffy on because Edgar Wright, I expected so much more from him, and that one was just a little too lukewarm for me. But here in this one is gnarly, gritty, outlandish. Oh, some great words to describe this. Tessa says, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, is an epic revenge tale that Anya Taylor-Joy brilliantly leads. Although Chris Hemsworth's over-the-top, mustache-twirling villain certainly tries to steal a show, first half is notably slow, but once it takes off, it goes full throttle. So another review talking about how the first half is slow. I'm interested to see how that feels because I'm a big fan of, I'm a big, critique on pacing in a movie. Because people said that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes had terrible pacing. I thought the pacing was really well done in that movie. Another review that talks about how Chris Hemsworth is basically almost stealing the show, so that is absolutely insane and cool to see. Fico says Furiosa is amazing, one of the best prequels I've seen so far. Not only is it a solid summer action blockbuster, but it also respects what came before, even improves on it even more. George Miller is working at another level. This one's saying one of the best prequels of all time. Honestly, I don't think I could make a list of the best prequels of all time because I don't know where to start there. This one says a solid action summer blockbuster. That'll be interesting to see how well it does at the box office for being a summer blockbuster because it does have a huge budget. I don't know how it's going to make profit. I don't know if it's going to make profit, but it will be interesting to see. We got another one from Matt Neglia, one of my favorite critics. He says, George Miller, you beautiful mad bastard. Furiosa Mad Max Saga is even more massive in both story and scale compared to Fury Road, expanding upon the world of Mad Max in such beautiful and demented ways. Some might be taken aback by its length and pacing, but for me it was necessary for it to work alongside Fury Road, not against it. Anya Taylor-Joy does the iconic Furiosa justice, and this might be Chris Hemsworth's finest hour. The craftsmanship is of course on a whole nother level. What a vision, what a ride. Witness it. Witness it. Another great review. One of the best reviews we've seen so far. And Matt, I love him as a critic. He has such a great way to write reviews. It's awesome to hear that Matt really enjoyed this. He's talking about Chris Hemsworth. It's being its finest hour. A lot of praise is being given to Chris Hemsworth, which is awesome to see. He's coming off of, not the best received Thor film with Thor Love and Thunder. Even I thought that film was really weak. And he also said that the pacing worked for him a lot. People might not like it, but he said he really enjoyed the pacing. So I'm really excited to hear about that. And we have our last one here from Matthew. He says Furiosa is the quickest 2.5 hours imaginable. It might take over an hour to see Anya Taylor-Joy appear on screen, but her character is immediately felt. So yeah, that's our first reactions for Furiosa. And Matthew, he's coming in quick here saying that this is the quickest 2.5 hours. So, the pacing is an issue for some people, pacing isn't an issue for others. So it's kind of divisive there, but overall, I'm seeing some very, very, very strong reviews. I think the Rotten Tomato score is like the high 80s, which is very strong. Some people will say, oh, it's not strong enough. Fury Road is 96. But at the same time, who's going into this expecting Fury Road? It's like Fury Road was like, what is that, like 8 years ago? It's a very different movie. And then you have, we'll talk about this in the main review when I actually see the movie, but you have people saying, oh, this is woke. This is the wokest movie I've ever seen because it's a female character. And I'm like, it's literally just, how's it woke? It's a Furiosa movie, and they're like, oh, we want Mad Max. Well, you had Mad Max in his first 3 movies, for God's sake. Go watch those. Then you have Mad Max in Fury Road, and then George Miller said he might make another Mad Max film. This is one Furiosa film. How is it going to hurt you at all? It's insane how these people are talking, but I cannot wait for this film. I'm a huge Anya Taylor-Joy fan. I think George Miller, he knows how to make action and he knows how to use these set pieces and, practical effects mixed with CGI, which is something that, the trailers have been discussing, but I've heard that CGI is actually pretty fixed up for the movie, and so I'm cool to see for that. It's awesome to see Chris Hemsworth getting his flowers for this villainous role. And, it's a 2.5 hour movie. I'll see how I like the pacing. Some people don't like the pacing. So excited for this movie, though. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, as I said. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.